The Eagles just destroyed the Commanders 55-23. Now heading to their second Super Bowl in 3 years. And just so much to unpack here, Tony. Let's start with what went wrong for the Commanders. Everything. Total lack of discipline on defense, including that one sequence near the goal line where they showed as much restraint as Robert Blake next to a pistol.
Yeah.
Tony, what's your takeaway here?
What the Commanders didn't seem to know is that there's actually an invisible line in front of the football called the line of scrimmage. And you see, in the rules, it specifically says you're not allowed to cross that line until the football's hiked. Now, I know it's confusing because, as I said, that line is invisible. But I do have a great solution. My neighbors have what's called an invisible fence for their dogs. And every time their dogs go over the invisible line, which is basically the doggy line of scrimmage, they get a very mild shock. So I suggest next year the Commanders should try using these shock collars on their defense. And, Dan Quinn can give them a little bzz, bzz when they cross the line. And if they do that thing where they keep jumping over and diving over, you just increase the voltage. Boom, problem solved.
Terrific football and also electrical analysis there, Tony. And, that whole sequence there by the goal line was very interesting. Because at one point, the refs, they came out and said that if the Commanders went offsides, they could just award Philly the touchdown. Wow. And that was just truly eye-opening, wasn't it, Tony?
We don't like to get political on this show, but there have been so many executive orders. We didn't know the new administration also passed an executive order that allows refs to award points at their discretion. This rolled back the old Biden administration regulations that specifically said offenses cannot score points without scoring a touchdown or a field goal. Finally, we got rid of all that red tape. Next, I hope they can finally do away with the rule that you can only have 11 men on the field. Why can't all the players be on the field at the same time? They're on the team.
I've always thought the same thing, Tony. It's a great point. The defense was terrible all around for the Commanders. They could not stop Jalen Hurts one bit. He was able to run for all those touchdowns, escape all those sacks, and, it's clear to see why, isn't it, Tony?
It's clear the Commanders were afraid to injure him. They saw Nick Foles up in that booth, and they knew if Hurts went down, there was a good chance the Eagles would bring Nick Foles into the game. And, we don't like to take credit, but we were the ones who had the idea to invite Nick Foles to the game today. So I have to humbly say, we are really the reason the Eagles won.
I humbly have to say, too, I could not agree more, Tony. These people, these morons out there, they're again criticizing Jalen Hurts for relying too much on his feet and not enough on his arm. And,
stupid.
This just shows the narrow-mindedness of people out there, doesn't it, Tony?
We believe in position fluidity. And that means if Jalen Hurts wants to be a quarterback who sometimes pretends to be a running back, that is totally okay. Just because he experimented in college with being a quarterback doesn't mean he needs to identify as a quarterback for the rest of his life. He is a bi-positional player, and he's opened the door for other bi-players like Patrick Mahomes. Personally, I think we should all support the lifestyle choices he's making.
Just so beautifully said, Tony. And,
Thank you.
Another angle here while we're talking about running backs. People are saying the biggest loser in all of this today is the Giants because of Saquon. But, that people, they're missing the perspective there, Tony. I got to say the biggest loser, I think, is Charles Barkley. Don't you agree, Tony?
100%. Now, when you say the name Barkley in Philly, Charles Barkley's like the fourth or fifth Barkley that comes to mind. Of course, number one is Saquon Barkley. That's free and clear. Number two is Gnarls Barkley, because, that one song was great. And then number three, you got to go Matt Barkley, because as soon as he left the Eagles, we got way better. Number four, Barkley Bartakamus from, that show Perfect Strangers. And then number five, Charles Barkley. Just a really tough turn of events there.
just a really tough turn of events there, Tony.
Yeah.
And on the subject of tough turn of events, we just saw the Bills just go down to the Chiefs once again. And, it's not just that they lost again. It's that you see the Bills making the same mistake over and over, don't you, Tony?
Absolutely. Last week we told you the biggest mistake anyone can make is trusting a man with 2 first names.
Yep.
And Josh Allen once again came up short for the Bills. And you think the Bills would have learned from history. Mm-hmm. Look at the last quarterback who got them to a Super Bowl, Jim Kelly.
Yep.
Now, you may be wondering, how did Tom Brady win 7 Super Bowls? Well, he cheated.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect explanation,
simple.
Tony.
That's
and the thing I'm hearing right now, people, they're heartbroken for Buffalo and all the fans there.
Oh, no.
They have nothing to be upset about this year. Isn't that right, Tony?
No, not at all. I mean, sure, Buffalo didn't make the championship game in football, but they did in tennis because the Bills' owner's daughter made the U.S. Open Finals. Yep. So technically, that does kind of count as a championship game appearance for the team. Yep. So congratulations to Buffalo and all their fans on a decent football season and a really solid tennis season.
Absolutely. Congrats. And, let's quickly talk about the Chiefs, Tony. Just another, solid performance, I guess, from the team. But not by the refs, Tony, right?
I have to say, it was a very unusual performance by the refs. Usually they do enough to make it so the Chiefs have a 100% chance of winning. But in this game, I felt the Bills had a decent 0.05% chance of winning. And that was a clear stumble by the refs. This gives the Eagles good hope for the Super Bowl that the refs won't fix it 100% of the way like they clearly did last time.
Let's hope for that, Tony. And just sorry if my eyes are a little watery. I think they might have tear gassed my neighbors across the street there. So,
it's about that
might
time.
Be coming through the ventilation there.
Just try to power through it.
I'm going to just try and power through it because we do have a little more to get to here.
Yeah, we do.
Actually, a quick baseball note, Tony. We got a lot of blowback on our social media this week. A lot of people angry at you, Tony, because you revealed that you were the lone voter who did not vote Ichiro Suzuki into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Well, Tony, you want to say something to the people, don't you?
A lot of people said I based my vote too much on a random stat. So I decided to go back and watch all of Ichiro's highlights because, like most people, I didn't watch any Seattle Mariners games because they're so boring and irrelevant. Honestly, I don't think I even ever saw Ichiro play before. So I went back and watched the tape, and I gotta say, I was still not impressed by what I saw. All I did was see him hit singles, but I did see one game where the Mariners played the White Sox, and there was a player named Adam Dunn. You got to see this guy. You got to see him hit. Now, that's a guy who belongs in the Hall of Fame. I'll be voting for him next year, that's for sure.
That's a guy who belongs in the Hall of Fame.
No
there we
question.
go, Tony. All right. Well, there we go. That's our reaction show. Great job. Don't forget your rate and review. And also...
Oh, you kidding me?
Here's someone I give 0 stars. Negative
zero.
stars.
Yeah,
what?
Producer Jay, what do you want?
Corrections.
Go.
You said the character in Perfect Strangers was Barkley Bartakamus?
Yeah, bro.
Beloved, bro.
His name was Balky, not Barkley.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm going to throw you off my balcony.
Yeah, and if that doesn't kill you, I'm going to hire a perfect strangler.
Oh, can't wait for that.
Yeah, me
he's
too.
still talking. What?
What?
Talk. Go.
You do realize Nick Foles could not have possibly played in the NFC Championship game.
How do you know, bro?
Yeah, anything's possible, bro.
No, it's not. He would have had to been listed as an active player and cleared by the doctors. There's a whole process he would have had to go through.
Oh, yeah, well, your body is going to be cleared by the janitor after I stab you.
Yeah. You know what's an inactive player? Your penis.
Oh, it's because you never use it. You're done. But guess what? just book because we're going to have a Super Bowl show, Tony, and there's only one guest you can have on that show.
Who?
He'll be joining us, Super Bowl legend, Eagles hero, Nick
Wow,
Foles.
let's
and
go.
we're going to ask him, will he be playing in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
We will find out.